Okay, I think we may as well start with the introductions. I know a few people are probably still joining us and will continue to join over the next few minutes. But just wanted to welcome everybody to this. We're really delighted to have so many people here and so many of you interested in the Student Leadership Programme. And obviously this is your chance now to find out more about it, to find out more about the application process and to ask us questions, and that's probably a good moment to introduce us. So I'm John. I'm Head of Membership and Operations at the Council of Deans and have been involved with the Student Leadership Programme since the start. I'm also joined by my colleague Felix. Felix, do you want to say hello?
Hello everyone, I'm Felix. I am a Project and Events Officer with the Council of Deans of Health, and I am overseeing the Student Leadership Programme.
So Felix is the first point of contact for anybody with any questions about the programme outside of this webinar. And we're also really fortunate to be joined by two of our current cohort of students. So we have Hannah and Michelle. So if you'd just like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I am a fourth year integrated master student in mental health and learning disability nursing. And yes, I'm the current student on the programme.
Hello, I'm Michelle. I'm a second year adult and mental health student nurse. And the same as Hannah, I'm sort of just coming to the end of being part of the current cohort.
Okay, thank you. So the overall plan is that we will go through the key information that you would need if you're thinking of applying or in the process of applying once applications are open to the programme. And obviously our two current 150 leader students will share some of their kind of advice, thoughts, experiences and tips for you. And there will be opportunities to ask any of us questions. So Felix and I will probably deal with the more logistical aspects of the programme, and Hannah and Michelle can talk about kind of the experience, the benefits, and so forth. As you might have gathered, we're in a webinar format, so we can't all, you can see us obviously, hopefully hear us as well. We can't see you and you won't be able to see each other, but there will be an opportunity using the Q&A function on Zoom to ask questions. We'll either pick them up as we go along if they relate directly to something we talk about, or if there's any we miss or more general questions, we can come back to those at the end. And obviously we'll try and answer, if not as many as possible, or if not all of them, as many as we possibly can. But of course, we are contactable outside of this via the student leadership email as well. If there's anything that occurs to you after we've finished, then do get in touch and do drop us a line. So I'll give a brief overview of what the student leadership programme is. So really, this is something that's evolved over a number of years now, with a lot of input from students. Many of whom you can see happy and smiling on screen now. And its aim really is to promote and develop leadership skills amongst nursing, midwifery and AHP students. And we know that obviously a lot of your courses will cover some aspects of leadership and you'll have different experiences of that. This is something that we really hope complements that and doesn't kind of duplicate anything you've had already. What we think we have, which is different, is obviously this is a UK-wide programme drawing students from universities across England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and across the different professions as well. So all of the allied health professions, all fields of nursing and midwifery. And this is what makes it a unique scheme and a unique environment. And obviously we hope this kind of sort of feeds into, what you would experience after your studies and joining the workforce, where of course you're in that kind of multidisciplinary environment. So we think that kind of mutual learning off of each other about each other's courses, professions and everything else is what we can really bring. And also that kind of real community, which I'll come back to later, that across successive cohorts we've seen develop, and not just develop for the duration of the program itself, but actually lasting across people's kind of time at university and even beyond in some cases, and sort of the wider connections you make through the coaches you will have and others as well. So the essence of the program, well, it's a mixture really, I suppose, of kind of events, and it starts with a two-day a two-day in-person event in Manchester, which will be in September. And this is really where you get that chance to meet everybody and form those kind of all-important connections. Building your tribe, as a lot of people have said, or finding your tribe is a common refrain we hear after that event. But during those 2 days, there'll be a number of presentations, workshops, group activities, chance to hear from sort of leaders within the sector, as well as people who've been on the program before about their experiences and what they've done and how it's changed them to be on the program. And then this is supported by 2 further conferences, which are both online. They take place various points in the year, one in December, one in March. It's obviously a little bit different when you're doing an online event, but we found that they've been very kind of successful, but also they do have that element of interaction. It's not just sort of turning up and watching a webinar. So this is like a key component of the program. This is all kind of backed up by a coaching scheme, and coaching might be something that's quite new to a lot of you. Obviously, it's different from mentoring, and you will have experienced mentors and mentoring in perhaps different aspects of your courses. But you'll be assigned a coach who will work with you over that period to sort of develop your leadership skills and to kind of assist you in your development in that respect. I would stress that this is about leadership. It's not career development. They're not kind of career coaches. So you might find that the coach you're allocated is somebody from the profession for which you're studying. It might not be, and some of our coaches really request somebody from a very different profession to their own, because it helps them learn about different aspects of healthcare, different professions as well. So we've had a coach who's an osteopath request to work with a nurse, a midwife, and so forth over the years, and they've felt it's really benefited them. So coaching isn't necessarily about being a learning disability nurse or being a therapeutic radiographer or something like that. It's about the leadership, and the coach is somebody who can really kind of assist with that. And the coaching can be a mixture of kind of face-to-face. There is a small budget to allow for at least one face-to-face meeting. We do try and make sure as much as we possibly can that you're paired with somebody who is geographically, if not close, then not too distant. So we understand the importance of kind of face-to-face, so that can be made possible. But also then you have the opportunity to kind of speak to people over the phone, online, WhatsApp, whatever your preferred method of communication is. Of course, there is an onus on the students who are part of this to kind of really engage with the coach. The coach is there for you. They're giving their time for free. They're really passionate about this. They really enjoy it. They really want to help you. But it's a two-way kind of relationship, and it works best when both parties kind of are able to establish, I suppose, very kind of clear outcomes and sort of a path towards those outcomes. So it's a really significant part of the program, really valuable. And I know we always say it's for the life of the program, and that's technically what it is, but some people do sustain that beyond. Some people use it as a springboard to then look for other coaches, and throughout your careers you will perhaps have opportunities in different at different times to have coaches in whatever role you're doing. And coaching is something can be hugely beneficial. I don't want to say kind of life change. That might be kind of stretching it, but in terms of your career, certainly where I've had coaching in my job, I found it kind of like has kind of had real benefits and made me make real kind of changes. And really, the coaches themselves are drawn from all, I suppose, all aspects of the healthcare and health education sectors. But it does, and often people in really quite senior roles as well. So it does kind of give you an access to people and coaching that you perhaps wouldn't have otherwise, and just in the course of your regular studies. So that's coaching and conferences of one sort or another taken care of. Beyond that, there are a whole host of other opportunities which we've kind of, like, I suppose, evolved over the years. We're always kind of there in the background as contacts, but also pushing forwards opportunities as well. In the past, we've had students get involved, for example, in some of our events, some of our conferences, coming to those to speak to our members, so people who are deans of health faculties or heads of schools and so forth. We've had people engage in our policy work. We've had people engage in policy work at a national level as well, working with quite senior people in the NHS and other organisations for that. And these are all things, they're by no means mandatory, and we do understand that time is precious, and you know, particularly on healthcare courses, you know, it's really at a premium, and we definitely don't want to overwhelm people with opportunities. We don't want to stress people. If you think that you know, oh God, I've got to do everything that Felix emails me and puts my way, you absolutely kind of don't. But we do like to put as many opportunities as possible. And equally, you know, we're often on the lookout for people to submit blogs, for example, for either our website, the student leadership website, podcasts, or other things as well. And really, you know, we're also very responsive to supporting any ideas that people come up with themselves. You know, we kind of, this is, as I said, this program was developed a lot with student input right at the start and throughout its life. And you know, we're always improving, always developing, but always really kind of happy to kind of have people approach us and say, I'm on the program, I want to do this, can you, if we can't support, can we signpost somebody who can? You know, and you'll see from the slide that's in front of you, I mean, there's a picture in the bottom left of somebody at the university all-party parliamentary group meeting in the House of Commons. So I mean, you know, all sorts of opportunities that that come people's way via the program. I think that covers most of that. So I'm apologies, I'm working between two screens and I keep losing my mouse as I transfer between the slides and the other one. So projects is another aspect of the program, and you know, we encourage students to run some kind of project. It can be quite small scale, again acknowledging time constraints, but things that help, you know, to develop and apply leadership skills. And I think both of our students today will kind of share their experience of that. And you know, we've had a huge range of things in the past, like I say, varying in scales, but you know, you might have come across the We Student Nurses Twitter, which is set up by two of our former 150 Leaders students. We've also had people hosting events, webinars. We've had people kind of go into kind of local schools and other environments to promote their particular kind of course. So maybe like working with the university's kind of recruitment or outreach or widening participation kind of teams. We've had people featuring in the media. Sometimes, you know, when we get media come to us looking for students or on the out there looking for students, you know, that's been another opportunity. And you know, people have developed their own kind of blogs, websites, other resources as well. Certainly around dietetics is one that springs to mind. We've had people doing some amazing kind of work there, developing resources, podcasts, and things like that. So I suppose the common denominator for all those things, as you might have guessed, is that they tend to be things people are quite passionate about. You know, I think anything that people are going to do well, you know, it's something you're driven to do, and that's what we've seen. So we are not going to kind of say you must run a project on this. We will definitely kind of help, you know, and offer guidance and support where we can. But you know, they really are things that the individual wants to do, and that's what I think makes them successful. So moving on to, I suppose, some of the more kind of logistical aspects of it. A common question is around cost, and happily, I mean, this is a program you can see from the top. We run in partnership with the Burdett Trust for Nursing, and the Burdett Trust for Nursing have been fantastic over the years supporting this. And although they have nursing in the name, they've supported all the HP students and all the midwifery students as well. So everything is fully costed. So when you come to the and yeah, supported, when you come to that opening of a 2-day event in Manchester, you don't have to pay for accommodation, you don't have to pay for travel. That's all taken care of. Similarly, as I say, there is some money for meeting your coach, for example. And equally, if there is anything which, you know, we put your way to come to, if we say, hey, we would really like somebody to come and speak on a panel at one of our conferences about retention, for example, you know, we cover the costs of things like that. So you know, this is an amazing opportunity because, you know, not only is the content fantastic, but it's all paid for, and you know, it's I would say it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'll let the students answer that later, but it's not the sort of thing that comes, I think, across people's paths very often in their education. And we also, as you mentioned, we have some support from NHS England around the HP students in particularly. So, you know, we're really kind of grateful to our partners in this, because, you know, it genuinely wouldn't be possible without them. And, you know, we have also, I mean, it's something which we've seen kind of spin-offs and local work and stuff around this. So, you know, it has inspired something. It started as a 2-year program. 7 years later, we're still here. We're still going strong. We're still looking to do more cohorts. So, I mean, it has been a fantastic experience, I think, not only for all the 350 odd students who've been on it, actually for us as an organization, and all the people, all the speakers we've had at the events, all the coaches who have been involved, everybody who really has supported this. So that wraps up my segment for now. I'm going to pass on to Felix, who will talk a little bit more about the application process, which you'll be pleased to know is like really super simple. And, you know, don't be put off by the application process. It's not a test. It's just there to allow us to find out more about you and why you'd want to be on the program, so we can find the best candidates, basically. So Felix, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. So I see there are already a few questions in the Q&A about eligibility. So yeah, that's something we are going to cover. And we'll have some time for questions if there is something that I wasn't clear enough about, or yeah, if there is anything. So first of all, I want to start here so you know that you're definitely eligible to apply for the program. So the criteria is very simple. So at the time you apply, so now currently you need to be a current first or second year undergraduate pre-registration student. You can also be a first year postgraduate pre-registration student. And if you study in Scotland, you can, and you're doing a 4-year program, you can also apply in your 3rd year. So I know there are some particularities. There are some different programs, so we'll be able to answer this. There is no issue. We'll probably come back to this a bit later. Maybe we can pick this up now, because I see in the Q&A, so the eligibility criteria mentions about 3-year degree and 4 years degree program. However, I am currently in master's midwifery, shortened 2 years program. Am I eligible to apply? I don't know, John, if you have any answer to this. I would say that as long as you are a student in academic year 2024-2025, you should be eligible.
Yes, I would say so. And obviously, one of the reasons we've kind of pitched more at people who will be in their 2nd year is that we understand things will get more and more busy the closer you get to the end of your course. So, you know, it's not a barrier, but again, it's us being kind of mindful of the time commitment. We don't want people having to kind of like drop out, for example, because of their the pressures they're studying. We don't want people kind of being deterred either by that factor.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. Can international students apply for the program? So we'll come back on this, but indeed, you must be studying at one of the Council of Deans of Health member institutions in the UK. So if you're an international student studying in the UK, there is absolutely no problem. Of course, you can apply. We have international students in the in our course this year, so there is no problem. So about the Council of Deans of Health member institutions, this is the majority of the university across the UK, but it may worth checking. We'll provide all the details, so you'll see if you can if you'll be eligible. But basically, if you're studying in nursing, any of the 4 fields, midwifery or allied health professions in the UK, there is a big chance you can apply to the program. Then one of the last criteria is that you'll have to be available to attend the Welcome Conference on the 19 and 20 September 2024, this September in Manchester. And as John said, this is fully covered. So just for info, these are, so here is a list of the allied health professions eligible to join the program in case anyone was wondering. And there are also the nursing fields and midwifery. At the bottom, there is a link where you can find the full list of Council of Deans members in case you need to check whether your university is a member of the council. So yeah, feel free to have a look. We'll send the slides if you want to, where you'll be able to find the links and everything. So what is the application process? So to apply to the student leadership program, you'll be required to complete an online application form. So just to let you know, we got hundreds of students apply for the program. So it's very competitive, but we don't want to let that put you off. So yeah, I think it's worth the cost to apply. I think the key part of the application form consists of assess questions. So we marked them blind, and yes, and also we won't be revealing what the questions are today, but they will be made available once we open the applications. We open them on this Monday 25, and also the question will be slightly different from the previous years, so you won't be able to copy and paste from one of your colleagues from the previous years. Also, so I see a few questions here. Well, we probably come back to it later. So could you confirm the date for the weekend required in September? So it's not a weekend. It's on Thursday and Friday, 19th and 20th of September, that will have the conference. Okay, so so now I would like to quickly go to our 150 leaders that are with us today, Hannah and Michelle, and I wondered if they had any advice that so what would be their top piece of advice about writing your application? So what I don't know, Hannah, maybe you want to start. Do you have any advice to
definitely
provide? Yeah,
I think the main thing for that would be, my main advice would be, just be yourself, but let your personality come across. You know, be brave, you know, show who you are, show where you hope that you're going to be going, show your ambition, show what you've done, but also really, you know, like I said before, show your personality, that braveness, that you're willing to go and do things. I think that's really important, to show how proactive you are, what you've been up to. But you know, also, you know, let the assessor see who you are as a person, not just what you have done, but who you are.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I will come back on this, but I think this is very, very important. We want something that is personal. We don't want something that is generic, you know. That's how we make the distinction between very good applications and good application or okay applications. Michelle, did you have any advice maybe on writing your application?
I think Hannah pretty much covered it there, but I was going to say it's the being authentic, and don't overthink it, because I think if you overthink things, then you might not come across as genuine. And like she said, it's shining through who you are. I would take your time with it. I didn't rush doing my questions, and after I'd answered the questions, I gave it a couple of days, came back to make sure that I felt it sounded right. I got somebody else to read through it for me to make sure it made sense as well. But yeah, that key thing is the being authentic and letting your personality shine through.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much. So here are a few tips. Indeed, spend time on your application. Be thoughtful and considerate as to what you write about. So for instance, if you say, I want to learn about leadership, this is not going to get you a place on the program. This is too generic, you know. So the main thing you need to know is to keep your answers relevant and personal. You need to explain exactly why do you deserve a place, and more than yeah, why you deserve a place more than anyone else on the program. Also, we suggest that you read about the program, you make some research, you read about leadership in general. This will be benefit. I mean, this will benefit to you anyway. And also that you read about coaching to make sure that you know what to expect from the program. Make sure to read the questions carefully. And also it's very good. So in order to make your application personal, we think using examples in your answers is a very good, it's very good. When sharing examples, it is also helpful to make sure you explain them clearly and that you note what your specific contribution was and the impact you made. So examples are very important, but you need to explain them clearly. And it's good that you develop your answers. Sometimes we are a bit disappointed to see that answers don't take the time to, they are not developed enough. So it's a shame. Please note you cannot save your application. So we suggest that you write the answers on a separate document, on a Word document before submitting. So as Michelle said, you don't rush and you can come back to them later. And yeah, basically make sure your application is concise, but one sentence responses make assessors think that you've rushed your application. So yeah, make concise, relevant, but please develop. So you'll see on the form there is a word count, which can be used as an indication about the length of your responses. And yeah, that's it. Also, final tip maybe is to make sure that you read your answer back so you avoid spelling and grammatical mistakes. Even if your application won't be judged only on, on this, it's important for you to read back. So so you avoid doing some mistakes. So this is the application timeline. Application open this Monday, and you have plenty of time because they will close on the 6th of May. So 25th of March until 6th of May. So please note that we don't accept application after this time. And email, please, drop us an email if you have any queries, if you have any doubts about your criteria, eligibility criteria, or anything else. Or if you can go on our website, councilofdeans.org.uk student leadership, where you'll find all the details you need to know.
I was going to say that there are a few questions related to that.
Perfect.
So one is about whether the application form is the only way of selection. Yes, it is. We don't follow up with interviews. I think that would just be impossible to manage given the hundreds we will have. Should we be using references in our application? I mean, refer to things. If you mean in an academic sense, please don't. Keep it personal. We want to know about you. Essentially, we want to know about you and your motivation for doing this, and what you want to get out of it, what you want to do off the back of this. So it's a very personal thing, and it is a competitive process with a number of people. I've over the years had a lot of people kind of saying, "Oh, I don't know if I should apply. I don't know if I'm kind of up to this. Is this for me?" And then the number of people who get on it and go, "I never thought I'd be chosen." It's kind of, don't be deterred. Whatever you think, whatever anybody says to you, if somebody encourages you, believe them. Somebody discourages you, don't believe them. Apply anyway, because you don't know what's going to happen. And everybody is different. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody brings something different to this process. And I suppose that's one of the other kind of points that, we want as broad and diverse a group as possible. We want diversity in all respects, from geographies across the UK, from professions, from gender, ethnicity, people of any kind of backgrounds. You have people who are neurodiverse, disabilities, everything we want that broad group because we know it brings huge benefits to the program, to the people on the program. You know, there really is in that sense no barrier to applying, and we would genuinely encourage everybody, you know, if you're interested, if you're at this webinar now and you don't apply, unless you don't meet the criteria, I mean, you've come this far, go that next step, put in the application. It is quite simple. As Felix has stressed, you know, don't rush that, and our students as well, don't rush through it. Don't please give us the one-line answers. We hate those. You know, but give us that sense of why you want to do it, and you know, so make it as personal as possible. Make it about you. And yes, if you do make it onto the program, you might be at next year's Q&A session, as Hannah and Michelle are today. You might have had all sorts of opportunities, but that would potentially be one of them. I think that's probably all the questions. Somebody said, do we mean September 2025? No, we definitely mean September of this year. So essentially, it's that September through to March period where the program runs. We obviously have to start the application and recruitment process now, just because it is to give that lead in time, and it you know, depending on how many hundreds of applications we get, it can be quite time consuming on our end. And you know, I would stress that we have our entire team within the council marking these things, and we read them all. We take it seriously. We don't rush through these. We don't discard them just on, I mean, if you do give a one-word answer, we'll definitely discard that one. But you know, we read every answer kind of fully. We consider it, and actually 2 people will have seen it, so there's no kind of sort of bias in the sense if your answer didn't resonate with one person, somebody else sees that and actually goes, no, actually I think that's a really good answer. So you know, we have a very thorough process, I think, for doing that. And you know, and just finally going back on the kind of the courses and things, you know, we've had people on degree courses, we've had people on apprenticeships, we've had nursing associates, you know, the full range basically of people, and that also is something that brings a real value and diversity to the program as well. So sorry, Felix, back to you.
No problem. Thank you very much. I just wanted to, regarding applications timeline, to highlight that indeed they close on 6th of May, but we provide outcome for the applications in early July, and everyone is notified. So either you are in the shortlist, in the successful shortlist, or in the reserve list, or on the unsuccessful list, we'll give you feedback. And yeah, that's it. How many applicants are accepted each year? I see in the chat. So I think the cohort will be about 50 students, but it may vary, but around 50, I would say. And yeah, I think there might be other questions to come. We'll go through later, because now I would like to ask our 2 150 leaders, Anna and Michelle, to give their experience, to share their experience on the program and what they've enjoyed, what they've done during this year. Because it's very valuable that you hear from people who actually were involved in this. So Anna, would you like to start?
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for having me. You know, my experience with the 150 leaders is absolutely amazing, and really it is life-changing because it helps you grow and focus, which is something that you know, I was lacking a little bit. I was into everything and everywhere. Just being in the same room with all those enthusiastic people that are you know, willing to go above and beyond than just being a student was so empowering. You know, not having to explain why you're doing this, why you go into that meeting when nobody's paying you. Every single person in that room was at the same mindset, and it was really uplifting. The energy on during the opening conference was absolutely, you know, astonishing. We were all having very vivid, amazing experience. So, you know, I can't recommend that program enough, as well as meeting people from various nationwide universities, fields, allied mental health professionals, it was really eye-opening to see whether their experiences as a student was similar, whether their issues were similar, how did they deal with it. It just really broadened your horizon massively. You're looking at my two lovely coaches and one of my peer from the student leadership program. So my coach is at the back. It's Sam Humphrey. He's a learning disability senior lecturer at De Montfort University. The reason why I ended up with two coaches was because we were two students of the leadership having two coaches at the same university, which was absolutely brilliant, because the second coach was Pippa Chilman, who is a mental health lead in De Montfort University. So they are both my field of nursing that I study, and it really exacerbates that experience, you know, having two coaches that I still keep in touch with, and they both give me you know, feedback and pointers when I ask them for help or things that I need another opinion on. The day we've spent with them, so they've planned a full amazing day. We've had a campus tour. The Leicester University has got absolutely fantastic grounds, various modern, very historic buildings as well. That was interesting, as well as meeting. They've organized for other professors and senior lecturers to have like one-to-one sessions with us where we can discuss various things. How did they develop? What was their journey? It was really, really inspirational. And then we concluded with having those one-to-one sessions with our coaches, discussing our projects and giving each other feedback. And it was very, you know, a positive experience where it again focused you and tunneled you, pointed you in a certain way that it affirmed what is working, what is not working. Having that feedback, it's really, really important. So, you know, I can only strongly recommend that. If I can have the next slide, please. So my project is called Student Handover. And I'm very passionate about improving student experience, because when I started, I didn't know anything. You know, I'm a mature student. I've worried a lot about a lot of things, single parent. So what I wanted to do, not to have another student going through all those finding out the first year, finding your feet and not understanding how things work and what to do. So student handover, it's an in-person presentation that's quite structured. You start with asking the students, so it's focusing on new students during their induction week. You start with asking them submit any amount of words of worries that they might have starting their course, and that creates this word cloud that you will then more likely come across very, very similar answers. Mainly it would be you know, assignments, placements, and so on and so forth, finances, well-being, things like that. So what I do then, I've dissected that word cloud into those, as you can see, placement, and giving them all those tips I've gathered, not just from myself, from a wide cohort, because I am a student and department representative at my university. So I ask a lot of students for all those tips, and I gathered it all together in an organized way to give them as many tools as I possibly can to make their journey easier, as well as, you know, embracing and sharing my personal stories. You know, being a nursing student's not always glamorous. It's not always something that goes smoothly, and that highlights the importance seeking help in the right time, and, you know, ensuring that the students are aware what the process is, what various ways of getting help, mental health with assignments to the skills and so on there is, so they can really have as pleasant and nice journey as a nursing student as they can have, you know, but also enhancing the support for one another. And that is another thing that I'm very, very passionate about. You know, it's not talked about a lot. It is a sensitive topic, you know, but from my perspective and experience, I had to support a lot of students from minority background that, you know, came across of various forms of racism, either on placement or in various, you know, situations. So it's looking after one another, supporting one another, you know, making sure that you're there for the students, and understanding that just because you're, you know, you're white and you're a privileged person, you know, I'm a middle-aged white woman, but I still can go and help and uplift someone and open the door and hold the door open for someone else to come in that otherwise would not have that opportunity. And just setting that standard, that's what we are expecting from nursing today. I think it's really important because it comes from us as a student, it comes from us as a future nursing professionals, and you know, we are setting the standards, and that's what we're saying. This is what we expect, but we're also willing to participate, and we are willing to take action if we need to. But yeah, it's you know, the overall, I would say, the reason why when I've already had to have my project sort of in mindset, because I am a 4th year student, so you know, I can't I had to make sure, because it's an induction project, I had to make sure I already had that in mind. But attending that conference and having those inspirational speakers, that really set me even further enhancing the importance of all of those issues. So I spent the whole night, because I was presenting the day after during the induction, I spent the whole night redesigning and redoing everything. And that's what it is. The student leadership program, it's really intense experience. You lived it, you know, you're there in person, you're experiencing the surrounding and the people in person, and that is so empowering and uplifting. You know, I can't recommend it enough, and I wish everyone here on the call the best of luck, you know, and I hope to see you in the future.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you very much. I think we'll come back later for questions, and I'm sure you'll be able to answer the question here. Can I ask now Michelle to talk about your experience, please?
Yeah, of course. So I've already introduced myself. So yeah, so I'm Michelle. I would just like to say something that John said is about it being a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I would absolutely agree with that. I'm so glad that I did this. I had a lot of I was quite apprehensive about it in terms of having the confidence to sort of participate. If you'd have told me last year that I'd be sat here talking, I'd have laughed in your face. I would not have thought I'd been able to do this. But Felix, if you go to the next slide, please. So I'm just going to talk quickly about the actual 2 nights we had in Manchester. I would highly, don't let it put you off. I was really nervous about it. The fact that I was going by myself, I didn't know anybody, having to travel there by myself, it was quite, I was pretty nervous, to be honest, but you'll soon get over that. Like Hannah said, there are so many, it was such a inspiring room to be in. Everybody was there for the same purpose. And it wasn't, what I liked is it wasn't just sitting there listening to people talk for 2 days. There was a lot of activities to do. It was very interactive. We started off with an icebreaker activity where we were sort of having to, it was a bit like a bingo with different courses and different things. And we were running around sort of, and talking to people. So it did serve its purpose as an icebreaker. I think it was on the 2nd day, we had a Dragon's Den type activity, and that involved groups having to stand up. We had to sort of come up with an idea for something relevant to what we were doing on the day. And we were sort of saying that not everybody was going to be able to stand up and present. There wasn't going to be enough time. And public speaking is a big fear of mine. So I actually, because of how, I don't know, how it makes you feel in that room, I felt quite open to be able to say, I'm really nervous about public speaking. Can I present part of it? Having the confidence to go, actually, can I stand up there and do my bit? which I did, which I was really quite proud of myself for, to be honest. So I would highly recommend, not being sort of getting over your nerves in terms of worrying about going away for that weekend or for those 2 nights. If you go to the next slide for me, Phoenix. So my project, I really struggled. There were so many people coming up with these incredible ideas, and I thought, I don't have any idea what on earth to do a project on. And so my coach was a lady called Yvette, who's at the University of Chester. She was brilliant, so helpful. And I used her. We sort of had conversations around things that I'm passionate about and things that I wanted to do. And ultimately, I came up with the idea of creating effectively a support group at uni for the student nurses, because it's not something that was actually in place. So I've had various meetings. I had to go to different meetings with like the head of the school, and I've been in contact with the dean at the uni, all things that were, again, quite nerve-wracking for me, having to have those meetings and kind of put myself out there to kind of say, look, I've got this idea, can I do it? And for them to help sort of facilitate that. I've had one session of the group, which started in February. It went down really well. And it's like I say, like it says on this, it's peer-led by what the students want to talk about. We had quite a long conversation around placements, and it was really nice to hear other people's experiences and actually have the chance to have those conversations, because you don't often get the chance, especially when people are doing different different specialities. So that went down really well. The other bit on the side there is we've now got a newsletter at our uni, so I was asked to write a piece for that. So the picture of me in the newsletter, which again was sort of putting myself out there. If you go to the next slide for me, please. And again, these were both in the newsletters. The slide on the left, I was asked to give like my top tips for new students. And then on the other side, for International Women's Day, I was asked to record a video talking about sort of inspirational women. And again, it's that public speaking thing. It was sort of like an extra opportunity from doing this and put myself out there. I've then been asked to do sort of these extra things. Obviously, I'm here today as well. But yeah, the recording myself again and putting it out there. Not just like, obviously, I don't really know anybody on this call, but having to do something that all of my colleagues at uni were going to be able to see was pretty nerve-wracking. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. I've benefited so much from like an increase in my overall confidence. But yeah, all I would say is if you're thinking about applying, just do it. Like you won't regret it at all. It's been such a good experience. I was worried about trying to balance this extra thing while trying to do my studies. It's not a problem. This isn't something that is sort of like takes 10 hours of your week every week. It's really manageable to fit in, and you make it work for you. At the end of the day, I've created a project that I knew that was manageable for me. I've not overdone it for myself.
Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you very much. That's very interesting. And I think we can see that from our 2 students here that the program actually opens a range of opportunities and also make you confident. And so it's you should really try on applying. You should so we have some time for a few questions. I think the first range of questions we have is about how long the course how long is the course basically, where does the course take place, so what in terms of time. Maybe Michelle and Anna, you can explain what's the balance, how did you manage, how did you navigate, how long did you spend? I mean, if you have any.
Do you mean in terms of our project or just overall?
I mean, in terms of the program, how long did you spend on the program? Every week, every month?
Well, I worked, we sort of attended, because obviously you guys put on different webinars that are throughout that time, which are all based around the leadership, which again were really good. And I've sort of developed that in terms of reading leadership books and to enhance on my knowledge. So I would say 1 to 2 hours maximum a week, absolutely maximum. But again, it fits around how much you want to put in to get out of it, really.
Yeah, I would say, you know, that doesn't have to be like a set amount of hours per each week or whatever. You know, you might well have a month where you know, you sort of keep that in the background because you need to concentrate on you've got a really busy placement, or you know, you've got a couple of assignments due. It's not something that requires like too much of a structure, but you just focus and make it work for you. So the project can be absolutely anything. We've had people, you know, designing leaflets, designing focus group, just like Michelle did, you know, and then you can involve yourself as much as you want to, or as little as you want to, or if it's around you. So it really is about focused around you, yourself, and what you would like it to be. But it really does lead into many other opportunities, because I think what you find out when you start on the leadership program is you are more forthcoming. You know, you start asking for those opportunities rather than waiting around and looking around what's out there. You actively start going and looking, and you start, you know, asking, can I do that? Can I go there? And that then leads to other people noticing you, and to further opportunities. But again, that's part of the leadership program that teaches you and helps you to develop how to focus. It was my issue that I needed to do everything and be everywhere, and it really helped me narrow my focus to a couple of things that I'm really focused and passionate about, and be selective about my time and respecting the time of the people that are around me and that I am talking to. So these are the two big benefits that people will notice. The way you come across, you're a lot more focused, and you know, you're a lot more respectful of the time, so you come prepared. You know, you know what you're doing, you've done your research before you go and speak to someone. So it really helps you narrow down what you want to do.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I will just add that there are 3 events that are mandatory on the program. There is the welcome event in Manchester, which is in person, and there are 2 online conferences, one in December and one in March in the end. But apart from this, you basically are free to manage your time as you want to. And yeah, so that's very flexible, and as our 2 students said. I don't know, John, if you had anything to add on this.
Yeah, I mean the coaching obviously is mandatory as well, but I mean how often and how much time that takes is between you and your coach, obviously. I noticed somebody asked a question about, you know, what if they're not sure they could attend Manchester? I mean, we really want people at that first one. I think probably both Hannah and Michelle would say that if you miss that, it's difficult, and it's not about, this is not like I almost think course is the wrong expression for this. This is not kind of like, oh, I missed a lecture, can I make up on this? It's more about the experience and the people. If you think now you're not sure if you can make the Manchester conference in September, apply anyway. And if you can't make it, then tell us in advance. Obviously, we do keep a reserve list, and we have had people drop out, and some people have got a very hopefully happy and surprising last minute call saying, can you come to Manchester next week? We've had a dropout, we've got a space come free. So, you know, that's well worth doing. But yes, if you're not certain about your time commitments now, apply anyway, confirm nearer the time if you can't. But we really would want everybody who's going to be on the program to be there, because you miss so much about that kind of community that you build and the people you meet if you're not there. And the other aspects, yes, I mean, if somebody can't make one of the online events, that's perhaps less important. I mean, we still want people there, obviously, but the Manchester one is really key. I think Felix just reconfirmed the dates, and again, you know, all the other elements of it, you know, you work around your schedule as much as possible. And somebody did ask about sort of content, which kind of like relates to that, I suppose. And I think the content varies a little bit, partly on feedback as to what worked well last year, and also speaker availability. But we do focus a lot on you hearing about people's individual leadership journeys, because we know from, you know, we started this whole program 7 years ago with a survey of what, I think we asked about 500 students what they wanted, and you know, to hear about people's individual experience was quite important, because I don't think anybody really sees themselves at the start as a leader, and we all have different ideas of what a leader is. And you can find yourself at different points in your life kind of like taking on leadership roles, which is not the same as a management role, by the way, but leadership in different aspects. And hearing how different people have done that and the routes they've taken, I think is quite powerful. We've had things around resilience, around authentic leadership, overcoming imposter syndrome, all things which I think are very relevant to a lot of people. And things like imposter syndrome, I think, who hasn't experienced that? Even if you look at the most senior academic in your university, they've experienced it. If you ask them, they would tell you. So things that are very kind of like common to everybody. There's, when we're doing the in-person event, there's a lot of kind of like group work activity. We really want people working together. As Michelle said, there's something about kind of being in a room full of complete strangers and standing up and talking. It's intimidating at the best of times for most people, I think, but people, it's a safe environment. And I think that's also one of the really important things. Nobody's there to kind of like judge, criticize. Everybody, I think, is really supportive. I can't think of a single instance where that hasn't been the case. And so I think that kind of freedom it gives you, as we've mentioned, is really, really powerful and really important.
Yeah, and I think we talked a lot about the support from the coaches and from the leadership program, but I think the other important aspect is we support one another. And because when you're there for the 2 days, you really get to know each other. It's very quite intense experience. And we get mixed during those different activities. So when you then leave that initial conference, you have got that cohort, that group that is there for one another, and we bounce off each other, we support each other throughout various different activities and things that we do. So that's another layer of that student leadership, that you have got so many different ways of supporting, but attending that conference means you get to know these people really well in a short space of time, because how intense it is. And then you just drive throughout the year when you're doing the program. So strongly recommend it.
And I think somebody said, what's expected of people on the program. I mean, I think to turn up, to be open, to be supportive, to be part of that community, to learn. I think this is very much about you all as individuals, your leadership growth, your leadership journey. And I guess if we asked all the students who've been on it, everybody's answer is a little bit different as to what they got out of it. There's definitely some common themes, but that's really what we ask you to engage with the program and get out of it what you can and what you want. I think it's not a tick box exercise. Yeah, you will get a certificate at the end, by the way, but it's not a tick box to say, oh, you showed up to X, Y, and Z, and you did a project, and it's really not about that. It's about the learning and then how you apply that to your career, yourself and your learning now, but your careers going forward in the long term. On the coaching, we try and match you with somebody who's geographically not so far away, but obviously we have a limited pool of, we have enough coaches, but we can't promise if you're somewhere quite remote, for example, that they're going to be quite nearby. But we try and match as much as is possible. So that kind of hopefully addresses that one. There's also about what you get out of the coaching, but I mean, again, that's another one of it's individual. It's about you. It's they're there to support your leadership development. So it's there isn't a kind of like a one size fits all answer. I think we can give either to what benefit it gives or what it includes. Felix, are there any other good questions?
So I see a question. What about students who have placement? So I think what you need to know also, if you have a lecturer, basically we are in close contact with your deans and they will be able to support you so you can attend our events. So you shouldn't be worried about not being able to attend one of the activities, because they know, they are happy that if you're on the program, it means that they are happy, they accepted that, they are aware and they support you, and we are in close contact. So we can also support you near them, so you can, don't miss any part.
I like the question about whether you're part of the program for a year. I mean, technically, yes, because it runs for that period from September to March. In reality, you're on it for life in a sense. I mean, the 150 leaders hashtag is there because initially we had funding to run this for 150 students over 3 cohorts. We've kept the branding because it's become quite powerful, and I see people on social media. I see people in kind of their kind of email the bit at the bottom where they're still referencing hashtag 150 leaders. We still invite people back to sort of some of the webinars we run for students. We try and engage in the much longer term with people, and people will keep in touch beyond that. So yes, you're on the program for that quite brief period of time, but in terms of being one of the 150 leaders, you're sort of there, I guess, forever. In a sense, we're still in contact with a lot of people. I mean, Pippa, who was mentioned earlier as a coach, was one of our 150 leaders in one of the very first cohorts. Another one of the then students, obviously now qualified, is also one of our trustees at this stage. So we engage with and we work with alumni from the program in all sorts of ways. We still look to put opportunities around where we can. We're very keen on keeping kind of track of what people are doing, not in an onerous kind of way, but we want to see what the long-term impact has been. As we continue to run this, we want to kind of like know what the benefit has been, and all those who have kind of like funded it and been involved with it want those as well. So really, yeah, I mean, it is. Sorry, I'm looking at the questions again, but I mean, the thing about the time management, the self-directed. I mean, no, a lot of it is, it isn't managed by us. We have certain points throughout the year where there are things like, as we've said, kind of the in-person conference, the online conferences, other webinars. But beyond that, we don't schedule weekly activity. If you want to kind of use this as a springboard to learn more, I think as Michelle said about kind of read leadership books and things like that, that becomes part of the learning, but that's not something we direct. This is kind of I don't know, I suppose it kind of gives people kind of like a launching pad perhaps to learn more about leadership than they would just through their courses themselves.
Yeah, so there are a lot of questions, but I'm conscious the time is so I see a question: what does the coaching include? Maybe does one of our 150 leaders want to quickly explain what the coach included for them? How I know, Anna, you've explained a little bit, but maybe it would worth come back a little bit on what it includes and how the relationship was driven, and etc. etc.
So it is basically like a partnership, so we know that we will meet, which is organized, and you get the travel expenses or the travel tickets through the leadership program. So again, this is not something that will personally cost you anything if you're worried about that. But you go and get to meet in person, and then you establish that relationship, and it will be what you want it to be and what you need it to be. I still keep in touch with my coaches when I'm not sure and I need a feedback. So it's more like them providing that feedback and pointing me, providing different options. How about if you maybe do that or do this. It's not structured in a way that you meet every month, or looking at the cohort, I know everybody had very varied experiences because everybody is an individual and everybody needs different kind of support and different kind of direction. So it really is about what you're going to put in it. That's sort of what you're going to get out of it. So it really is very individual, what and tailored to what you want it to be and what you're going to make it.
Thank you. Michelle, did you have anything to add to this?
Well, the thing I was going to add, I don't know whether this is a recommended thing, but on YouTube, on the actual your YouTube channel, I watched, there was a video on there of a webinar that you had done for the coaches in terms of what coaching means and what their role is. And I actually found that really useful because then at least I knew what to expect and the sort of limitations of what to expect from my coach. So that was something I found quite helpful to know what how to approach that.
Great.
I suppose one of the things on coaching is that, you know, unlike perhaps somebody who mentors you, they're not there to give you the answers. They're there to often ask the right questions that will guide you to the answer. I mean, it's certainly my experience of coaching in different kind of capacities, obviously, but it's, you know, they can definitely support you in different things, help you along the journey, but it's not that they're there to tell you you must do X, Y, and Z next to get there. They will kind of ask you questions that lead you to that point. That might sound slightly vague, but I think as you go through it, and yes, I think watching that video is good advice. That's one of the things you kind of learn. I just want to kind of pick up on the question about the number per kind of university or area. We try and spread it around as much as we can. You know, we have 50 students. Some years it's been 55. We've got 109 member universities now, so we can't make it one per institution, but we do like to get a spread throughout the country and across the profession. So if we do have, we tend not to have more than 2 students from any one university, and preferably not from the same course. So if we've got a mental health nurse and, you know, from a particular university, we try and make sure that the other student does something different. Maybe they're midwifery, maybe they're you know, radiography, speech and language therapy, whatever. So it gives us that spread. It works better that way. But having said that, we want the good applicants. So the first hurdle is to be one of the best applications, basically, and then we try and make sure we've got that spread. So hopefully that kind of answers that one. And there were a couple of kind of questions about kind of how you write your application. Well, I think Hannah and Michelle like summed up best. It's like, be honest, be yourself, be creative if you want. Somebody said, can you be creative? If you want to write as a poem, feel free. We'll accept any kind of approach to this, but we just want to know kind of why you want to do this and what you want to get out of it, because that allows us to kind of like know who we really think will benefit. And it doesn't matter if you've done some leadership study before, fine. If you haven't, that's fine. We've had people who have done, you know, because we have a lot of mature students, obviously, a lot of people's second career. So we've had people who've done leadership, maybe in the armed forces, maybe in a commercial environment. That actually all really benefits. That mix, the variety, really benefits the program. So we don't mind if you've had leadership teaching before or not, whatever your kind of background. You know, we really are interested in the individual and what you can bring and what you can get out of the program. Because also that thing about what you bring to the program, I think, is really important. If it's just a bunch of speakers, you know, we can put on a nice conference with speakers and things like that. It wouldn't be half as good as it is without the 50 people who are on, you know, make up that year's cohort.
Thank you very much. I don't know. I think we've probably, I mean, there are a few questions, but we've probably covered most of the program. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to email us. There is the email address on the screen now. Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Are we happy to close, John?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you don't hesitate to write us. All the details are also on the website. You can see the link at the bottom of your screen. Thank you very much, John, Hannah, and Michelle. And yeah, good luck, everyone. Did anyone want to add anything before?
No, just good luck. Good luck to everyone. And enjoy if you get in.
Yeah.
Just go for it, I would say, really. Just go for it.
Thank you so much, both. Thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, good luck. Bye. Thank you.